It is 4 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. Please stand to sing O Canada. Please be seated. We'll start with the roll call.
Mayor Sue Patterson,
Present.
Deputy Mayor Warren Dickert,
Present.
Councillor Harold Fleet,
Present.
Councillor Dave Hawking,
Present.
Councillor Carol Hudson,
Present.
Councillor Brandon Cable,
Present.
Councillor Susan Zackel.
Present.
Thank you, Vicki. All members are present and accounted for. The land acknowledgement. As we work toward reconciliation with Indigenous people, we begin our meeting today by respectfully acknowledging that we are situated on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe Nation, the people of Three Fires known as Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations, and further give thanks to the Chippewas of Saugeen and the Chippewas of Nawash, now known as the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, as the traditional keepers of this land. So welcome to council meeting for Monday, August the 11th, 2025. Good afternoon, council, staff, guests, the viewing public, and the media. Council, does anyone have a disclosure of pecuniary interest or a conflict of interest? And as always, if one should arise during the meeting, you may declare it then. We do not have any agenda additions or deletions, so we'll move on to our health and safety message. And I want to say this message demonstrates the town's commitment to safety to staff and our residents. It is intended to raise awareness of potential risks, promote safe practices, and help prevent injuries, illnesses, and fatalities. This month's message is brought to us by Councillor Hawking.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd just like to acknowledge that this information is provided to you from the National Fire Prevention Association, and it deals with lithium-ion batteries in your home. I'm sure you're aware that there are many items in your home that have this type of battery, such as power tools, your laptops, smartwatches, toys, headphones, also used in e-bikes, e-vehicles, e-scooters, and golf carts, excuse me. I'm going to highlight three different parts to this presentation. First part is dealing with the buy, the second one is charge, and the third one is recycle. So buying the only listed properties. When you buy a product that uses a lithium-ion battery, please look for the safety certification marks such as UL, ETL, or CSA. This means that it meets important safety standards. The second part is the charge. Charge devices safely. Always use the cables that came from the product to charge. Follow the instructions from the manufacturer. Buy new chargers from the manufacturer or one that manufacturers has approved. Second one on a charge, use your device on a hard surface. Don't overcharge your device. Don't do what I do, which leave it unplugged or remove the battery when it's fully charged. So that's very, very important. So what do you need to stop doing? Stop using your device right away if the battery smells weird, gets too hot, makes popping noises, changes in shape or color. If it's safe, move the device away from anything and please call the fire. Sorry, if it could catch fire, call 911. Recycle. Recycle batteries responsibly. Don't throw lithium-ion batteries in the trash or regular recycling bins because they could start on fire. And the final one on recycle, recycle your device or battery at a safe battery recycling location. Visit recycle.org to find a recycling spot near you. Thank you.
All very good information, and there are many spots in this town, including this building, where you can recycle batteries. So you can save them up and bring them in once in a while. The library and in the town office, I believe. Is that correct? Yes. So 2 spots in this building. All right. Item 7 is delegations. We have one delegation this afternoon, and we have Kevin Tremble from MNP, formerly BDO. He is going to present the 2024 draft financial statements. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you. As mentioned, I'm a partner at MMP in Hanover, formerly BDO. I'm here to present the audit report of the consolidated financial statements of the town of Hanover for the year ended December 31st, 2024. So I'm going to flip right to the independent auditor's report. This is the report that MMP attaches to the town's financial statements. We reviewed these financial statements with management last week and earlier today with the audit committee. So the very first paragraph, in our opinion, is our opinion paragraph. We have audited the financial statements of the town of Hanover and its subsidiaries as at December 31st, 2024. In our opinion, the financial statements present fairly in all material respects the consolidated financial position of the town at December 31st, 2024, in accordance with Canadian public sector accounting standards. So this is an unmodified audit report. It's what you want to see attached to your audit opinion, or financial statements. It means that we could attach our standard audit report to your financial statements. The next section is the basis of our opinion. We've conducted our audit in accordance with Canadian generally accepted auditing standards. And we believe the evidence we've obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. The next paragraph is other matters. This is a new paragraph this year. It just draws to attention that last year it was BDO that signed the audit report. This year it's MMP that's signing the audit report. The responsibilities of management and those charged with governance. So even though MMP assists with the disclosures and compiling some of the numbers for the financial statements, they are the town's financial statements. Ultimately, management and council approve any changes to disclosures and provide any source data for any accounting entries that need to be done to prepare these consolidated financial statements. Those charged with governance or the council or audit committee are responsible for overseeing the financial reporting process throughout the year. As the auditor, our responsibility is to obtain reasonable assurance whether the financial statements are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error, and to issue an auditor's report that includes our opinion. And you'll note that this draft report is dated August 11th, 2025. That's assuming that council approves the financial statements later in the meeting. The status of our audit engagement right now, we're substantially complete the audit. The only things left to do is for council to approve the financial statements. I want to highlight that part of being the external auditor is that we're independent of the town. It allows us to issue an independent auditor's report, and we're independent right up to today's date here and throughout the audit engagement. For the financial statements, like I said, we've gone in detail through this once with management and earlier today with the audit committee. I'm open to answer any questions or defer to Chris Walker, but Quick highlights of the town's financial position. At December 31st, 2024, the town had net financial assets of $7.9 million, reserve and reserve funds that have been set aside by council for specific purposes of $20.5 million, and an annual surplus for 2024 of $4.8 million. And I just want to highlight that annual surplus is before any capital additions that the town has invested during the year. And the town invested $12 million into infrastructure during the year. That's not reflected in that surplus. Overall, an accumulated surplus of $112 million. I'd like to thank Chris and the rest of our staff for the cooperation and assistance during the audit. It's always a pleasure to work with them. Appreciate their efforts. Any other questions regarding the details of the financial statements, I'd be happy to answer.
Council, any comments, questions? Considering our questions were asked during the audit committee meeting, it's understandable unless there's something else that arises. Okay, so that's it for you then, Kevin?
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so we do have a motion that the Council of the Town of Hanover approves the Corporation of the Town of Hanover financial statements for the year ended December 31st, 2024, as audited and presented by the municipal auditors for MNP LLP, Chartered Professional Accountants, Licensed Public Accountants. I need a mover and seconder, Councillor Cable and Councillor Sackle. Any further questions or comments? All in favor? That is carried. Thank you, Kevin. Always appreciated. All right, moving on. Item 8 is council minutes, and this starts on page 51 of the package. So this is the regular council meeting minutes from July the 14th. I need a mover and seconder before I highlight three items, sorry, Deputy Mayor Dickert and Councillor Fleet. So just a couple of items to highlight. We did approve the 2025 salary and benefits market survey process. We also approved a food truck pilot program for the months of August to September of this year. And we supported the direction to provide notice to the board of SMART, that Hanover will cease being the host municipality for gas tax funding effective January 1st, 2026. And that's all I have for highlights, unless any other comments or questions arise. I'll call the question. All in favor of those minutes? That is carried. Item 9, we do not have any business arising from the minutes. Item 10 is our consent agenda, and I will ask if there are any items in this consent agenda that you wish to be discussed separately. Otherwise, pulling them. Councillor Cable.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to pull item 10.4, the Committee of Adjustment minutes.
Okay. And I don't see any other hands, so I need a mover and seconder for the consent agenda without 10.4. So Councillor Hocking and Councillor Sackle. All in favor? That is carried. All right, so we'll move on to 10.4. which is the Committee of Adjustment meeting minutes from July the 9th. And I need a mover and seconder to put that on the floor before they're discussed. Councillor Cable and Deputy Mayor Dickert. Councillor Cable.
Thank you, Your Worship. In the interest of transparency and just to ensure that residents watching the meeting can follow the work of the Committee of Adjustment, I just wanted to highlight a couple of items from our last 2 meetings that received letters from residents as part of the public meeting, so that anyone following can be updated on where those applications are at. The first one is from our meeting on Wednesday, July the 9th. We had minor variance application A325 regarding 269 13th Ave A. The minor variance application proposed an accessory structure in the rear yard, which would be to construct a detached garage. The applicant was requesting variances to increase the maximum gross floor area from 600 square feet, as set in the comprehensive zoning bylaw, to 1,800 square feet, and also looking to increase the permitted height to 18 feet 2 inches. Public comments were received and were read aloud. And after a thorough discussion, the committee has deferred the application to a future date with a few conditions. The first being that the proposed building area was to be reduced from 1,800 square feet to approximately 1,200, that the proposed building height was to be reduced to comply with the comprehensive zoning bylaw, and that revised drawings would be provided to reflect the changes. And so we do await that application to come back to the Committee of Adjustment. The other item that I would highlight is from the Committee of Adjustment meeting on Wednesday, July the 30th, regarding minor variance application A525 at 612 10th Avenue. This is the former Dickies factory. The applicant was seeking relief from parking requirements. Specifically, the proposal requests a reduction from 46 parking spaces to 36 parking spaces in order to redevelop the property into a multi-unit residential complex that would have 41 units in total. The development aims to accommodate a range of tenants, and this includes business professionals, seniors, and affordable housing units. Several public comments were received and were reviewed by the secretary of the committee. Edward Mack, who was acting as a representative for the owner of 612 10th Ave, explained that the minor variance application was reducing the parking requirements. He reviewed a parking study, and the property is located approximately 500 meters from downtown Hanover, and outlined that it had a walking score of 78 of 100, indicating that most errands could be accomplished on foot. A new parking study was completed within the town of Hanover, looking at 3 similar multi-residential apartment sites, which determined that a parking utilization rate of 0.76 spaces per unit was found on average. And so essentially, for every unit that was there, 0.76 spaces of parking would be required. Applying that rate to the new proposal, that would generate a need for 31 parking spaces. Several questions were raised at the meeting that will be addressed through site plan control, for example, buffering around the property and the final design of the parking surface. During the meeting, the committee members raised several concerns regarding the viability of parking studies, snow removal and plowing, the exterior facade treatment, some accessibility aspects of the building, leasing of parking spaces, and parking space delineation, just making sure that the parking spaces are clear. And Mr. Mack did clarify that the owner intends to haul away the snow and will also be leasing parking spaces separately from the units to ensure that no more than 36 spaces are required by tenants. After a thorough discussion, the minor variance application was granted, subject to several conditions, including that the proposal will not adversely affect or restrict the uses in the surrounding area, that there will be buffering along the south and west property lines, and that parking space delineation and servicing will be at the satisfaction of the town of Hanover. Just want to provide a couple of updates just so that residents are aware of the work of the Committee of Adjustment.
Very good. Any discussion, comments with those minutes? They are being received for information. All in favor? That is carried. Item 11 is staff reports requiring action. The first one, 11.1, is report FI 0425. The subject is the Municipal Technical Rescue Agreement between the Town of Hanover and the Municipality of Grey Highlands. It's from our Fire Chief, Chief Deniger, and I need a mover and seconder to put this on the floor. Councillor Hudson and Councillor Cable. Chief?
Thank you, Your Worship. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. As indicated, this is report FI 0425, Municipal Tech Rescue Agreement between Grey Highlands and Hanover. The background is that the Corporation of Grey Highlands has requested consideration of the town to provide technical rescue services of its fire department to Grey Highlands on a fee-for-service basis. This is as a result, an agreement has been completed to allow Grey Highlands to request technical rescue services from Hanover. The fire agreement has been attached and was created specifically for tech rescue for Grey Highlands. These services would not only be provided as needed on a fee-for-service. Most clauses are standard and found in similar agreements. The schedules are outlined there. This does only apply to technical rescue, which includes swift water, ice water, static water, and high angle. When we do respond to technical rescue calls outside of our jurisdiction, we ensure adequate staffing remains in Hanover by monitoring availability through our response apps. technical rescue deployments require only a limited number of personnel, and we retain the ability to cancel a response at any point if staffing levels in town are insufficient to maintain local emergency coverage. On the occasions we are called out of the area, there is significant focus put on leaving appropriate levels of available staff prior to starting response. There are no financial implications. As indicated, Grey Highlands, if they called us, would be billed the current Ministry of Transportation rate per apparatus per hour, and be linked to the strategic plan, the safe and reliable infrastructure, as well as open and responsible government. The recommendation is that FI 0425 be approved and that the corresponding bylaw be authorized. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you, Chief. Are there questions, comments, discussion? Councillor Cable.
Thank you, Your Worship. Quick question for you, Chief. In number 4.3, this is on page 161 of our package. It says that Grey Highlands agrees to identify all bridges, culverts, or limited access roads under its or any other jurisdiction within the fire area, including the identification of weight limits and alternate routes for fire protection apparatus. And that any of the bridges, culverts, roads that are unable to carry the weight of the fire protection apparatus will be advised. Who in actuality does that? Is it actually Grey Highlands or is it dispatch services that does that? I'm just thinking at 3 in the morning, if you get called, who's actually providing that? And is there any liability around that if it's not provided and there's an issue when the unit goes over top one of these bridges?
Through you, Your Worship. Excellent question. Couple of things. One, we've changed our response protocol so that it's only pickup trucks that are going, which is the advantage. So we don't have heavy pump apparatus that are going down the road anymore. The second part of that question is that would be the chief or the incident command of Grey Highlands that would be reporting to us any construction or issues with response that would include any bridge closures or bridge work or culvert work or construction that would be in between here and there. There's constant communication and a technical rescue call between the requesting department and us to say what's happening and what's going on. So the benefit is that we have digital radios now within the county, and we can reach anywhere within the county with those digital radios.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And thank you for clarifying the apparatus that goes out.
Other comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Thanks, Chief. 11.2 is report PB 1125. The subject is medical clinic mechanical rooftop unit replacement tender. It's from Andrew Wilkin, our Director of Development and Infrastructure. And I need a mover and seconder before Andrew highlights. Councillor Sackle and Councillor Fleet. Andrew?
Thank you, Your Worship. With the increased maintenance costs and recent reliability issues, as well as just generally kind of end-of-life timelines with the existing rooftop units at the Hanover Medical Clinic, a complete roofing and RTU replacement was approved in the 2025 capital budget. You may recall at that time, the town staff had a third-party engineer come in, reviewed the units, and offered up a couple options, a like-for-like switch out and quite a large increase in energy efficiency units, which was about twice the cost. And ultimately, it was decided to go with the like-for-like route with some energy efficiency features, which we have done. The tender documents were prepared and advertised on Bid and Go. The tender closed on July 25th with two complete tenders received. The chart below shows a comparison between the results. As well, in the tender, we allowed the proponents to propose their preferred manufacturers for rooftop units, which I've also listed in the chart. We reviewed both of the complete tender proposals. Both manufacturers, Carrier and Trane, we were comfortable with both. There was not much of a difference when the specs were reviewed. Therefore, with no concerns with the Carrier units being proposed by Montgomery Industrial, They also note that a quick turnaround as they are factory produced units, and we probably can have them in about 3 weeks' time so that this project could start in early September. The project was approved in the 2025 capital budget for $780,000. It is recommended that there is a bit of a contingency carried in this because these new units have to tie into an old BAS system there. So we do expect some hiccups, as well as when tearing apart a roof from time to time, there could be some issues with some of the subgrade or sheathing or parapets that might have to be repaired. With all that said, and then $80,000 contingency, the project inclusive of that allowance would be $555,303.25, which is just under $225,000 under the approved capital projects budget in 2025. Funding for the project at the time was to come from taxes in the amount of $150,000, with the remaining $630,000 through reserves. The reserve contribution will be reduced to $405,303.25 at max in this proposed. The link to the strategic plan is safe and reliable infrastructure. And the recommendation is that report PB 1125 medical clinic mechanical rooftop unit replacement tender be received, that the project be awarded to Montgomery Industrial Service Limited for a total cost of $475,303.25. And that the mayor and clerk be authorized to enter into a contract with Montgomery Industrial Services Limited for the completion of the work. And I'll answer any questions.
Thank you, Andrew. What's the expected length of time this will take, and will it affect the operations within the medical clinic?
Thank you, Your Worship. There'll be some, it won't affect the operations. There definitely will be some minor inconveniences when the units are down. We won't change them all out at one time. We'll try to take some down and reinstall and get them back in line. A lot of it depends on the BAS tie-in. There could be some issues, but I would expect from start to finish through a few phases, it'll probably be about a month time.
Very good, thank you. Any other questions, comments? Okay, all in favor? That is carried. Item 11.3, this is PRC 0725. The subject is the Junior C live streaming camera agreement with the Hanover Barons. It's from Laura Kristen, our Director of Parks, Recreation and Culture. And I need a mover and seconder. Deputy Mayor Dickert and Councillor Fleet. Laura.
Thank you, Worship. Good evening, Council. So the Provincial Junior Hockey League, or as we know, the PJHL, has entered into an agreement with NBC Sports Engine to provide live streaming services for PJHL games. And to align with this initiative, that are seeking live streaming for the Hanover Barons games. And we're seeking approval to install cameras to facilitate the recording and live streaming of Junior C hockey games that occur at the PNH Center. This may sound a little bit familiar to Council, as the town was first approached by representatives of the Barons during the 23-24 season, and there was a prior report, PRC 01-2024, that was presented to Council seeking approval to enter into an agreement allowing the Barons to install video streaming services for the purposes of broadcasting games and practices, very similar to this. However, shortly after the report, the PJHL did change their service providers, and as a result, the camera installation did not proceed at that time. So here we are today. We have this new proposal that's been brought forward. And to describe the goal of what's trying to be achieved here, the goal of the live streaming is for player development, as well as to enhance fan engagement and broaden the access for those who are unable to attend games in person. This initiative does present an opportunity to increase visibility for the Junior C program and the PNH Center. However, this camera implementation has experienced some delays due to some logistical challenges with the transition to this new service provider. Staff has identified some concerns relating to the installation, primarily involving the privacy and data protection and ensuring the cameras are not recorded during unauthorized times. To address these concerns, we have proposed a new agreement with the Barons that explicitly transfers the responsibility for all aspects of the live streaming to the organization, to the Barons. Specifically, this agreement outlines the Barons shall undertake the following obligations. They have full responsibility for the cost, installation, and operation of the streaming equipment. They are the owners and they manage any freedom of information requests arising from any of the videos. They need to submit a camera and privacy policy, which shall provide the particulars on how the data is stored and protected from third-party access, and to indemnify, defend, and hold harmless the municipality from any claims, actions, liabilities, damages, losses, expenses, including legal fees arising from or related to the installation, operation, or use of the live streaming equipment. It certainly has a very robust indemnification section within the agreement to protect the town. The Barons will retain ownership of the cameras and all recorded content. They will also be required to provide adequate signage to notify the public that recording is in place. And it is noted that although the agreement does transfer the responsibility to the Barons, it is important to note that there are some risks associated with implementing this service. These include potential public complaints regarding privacy or the mismanagement of data by third parties, and reputational risk to the municipality if streaming service is not operated in compliance with the agreement. However, as I said, there's a very robust agreement in place, and this agreement helps ensure that the legal and administrative responsibilities related to the live streaming rest solely with the Barons. This approach, while without risk, provides a reasonable balance between supporting the club and protecting the municipality's privacy concerns. For financial implications, there are no financial implications associated with the report. As I've stated earlier, the agreement identifies the Barons will have sole responsibility and responsibility for the costs of the cameras. The link to strategic plan is goal 1, safe and reliable infrastructure. And the recommendations before you this evening is that report PRC 0725 Junior C live streaming camera agreement with the Hanover Barons be received, and that council authorize mayor and CAO to sign the agreement with the Hanover Barons Junior C Hockey Club for the purposes of installing video streaming cameras to record Junior C games and practices at the P&H Center for a 4-year term ending May 31st, 2030. Any questions?
Thank you, Laura. I have a couple of questions. So the cameras, take it will be above the ice. And will they be similar to our cameras that there will be a light on when they're activated? Why I'm asking is if there was day camp going on and that light was lit up, then staff would realize that those cameras are running. Right?
Through your worship. So there's actually only one camera per se that has multiple lenses on it. So it's actually just one location, and it will be above the ice surface that you talked about. And it's basically at center ice, kind of behind on that concourse side is the proposed location that we've presented. There is not a light on it. The way to determine if there is recording happening is by logging in. We have requested in that agreement that the town gets provided with a complimentary login in order to do that audit, let's say.
Thank you. Councillor Sacco.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Laura, for your report. My concern is about the privacy issue. I'm wondering about signage. Is there going to be signage to let people know, and who's responsible? Are the Barons going to be paying for that as well, and where would that be? Thank you.
Through your worship, yes. So the Barons are responsible as part of their agreement that they have to incur the costs in order to develop these signs. So at this point, what's proposed is they're going to put likely window clings on any of the entrances that are that fans would access the arena. So that's what's proposed at this time.
Other, Councillor Fleet?
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you, Laura. I can support this. You know, it seems to be the way the PGHL is going. You know, parents or grandparents are in Florida, they want to watch your grandchildren play hockey or whatever. I want to make sure that the Barons are taking full responsibility for the operation and maintainers of the system, as well as all legal responsibility. That's the most important thing. I know the city of Waterloo has an issue right now with one of their facilities with a supplier. And but I can support this. I understand by talking to one of the Barons executive that they'll be the provider will be cutting the services for them from May till September, I was told. So there'll be no operation of the cameras from May till September. So.
Through your worship. So yes, there certainly is a breach that has been in the local news. That stems a lot from human error. You know, so that's certainly something that that will be dealt with. Regarding, you know, it's in the agreement to, as I said, it's quite robust to eliminate that risk to the town. And you know, we certainly have other programs. Yes, with the services being cut during the summer, that is an advantage. I agree. So that is something that is a win. There are other programs that happen on our ice surface outside of those months that would primarily be that concern then.
Any other comments, questions? I think the agreement is very well written, and there are a lot of safeguards in it. So I don't see any other hands raised. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you, Laura. Okay, 11.4 is, no, yes, 11.4 is report PRC 0825. The subject is the fee assistance policy update. It's from Laura Christian, our Director of Parks, Recreation and Culture. I need a mover and seconder. Councillor Hocking and Councillor Hudson. Laura?
Thank you, Your Worship. Our fee assistance policy needed an update. It was established in 2008, and it aims to ensure equitable access to town-operated recreation programs by reducing financial barriers for our residents that are in need. Its goal is to support participation in recreational activities and promote healthy and active living, which is exactly what recreation stands for. This policy is designed to be available only to Town of Hanover residents. When we receive any requests, we do, first applicants are encouraged to apply for any regional subsidy programs. So in that case, if any of the regional subsidy programs are successful, then they would carry on with that. However, if they are unsuccessful, residents can continue and apply for the town's fee assistance program by submitting the following documentation. First, they've got to prove they live here, proof of residencies. Second, identification or proof of legal responsibility for any dependents. And also proof of income, whether that's a CRA notice or proof of income statement. So to determine that eligibility threshold, the policy currently uses that low income measure before tax that is published by Statistics Canada. So those numbers do not come from the staff, from our committee, that's specifically from Stats Canada. So when this policy was brought forward for review by the PRC Advisory Committee, the committee identified areas that required amendment in order to update some language and align with current economic conditions. and to clarify eligibility and also to streamline our administrative processes. The policy will, first of all, be updated for the most current, which is 2023 of that LAMBT, which is by Stats Canada, in order to ensure the thresholds maintain consistency with present day financial realities. During our review, a concern emerged that was related to the exclusion of our aquatic memberships and our passes. So those typically in the past have historically been not included on the grounds that they are already discounted. However, committee members expressed a support for reconsidering that exclusion, particularly related to that visit-based passes, which offers a greater flexibility and further affordability. Following further review, a consensus was reached by the committee to maintain that exclusion of the aquatic memberships from the policy, again, due to their already subsidized rates and for that potential for budgetary impact. However, the inclusion of the 10 and 20 visit passes was adopted in order to improve access to residents who may benefit from the discounted options. To help manage demand, we are placing a cap on the discounted rates to a maximum of 40 visits per person per year. And, certainly that is, it was just a more practical option for us to consider. This approach is intended to strike that balance between supporting equitable access to recreation and maintaining the town's ability to deliver programs responsibly. The revisions that have been identified in the attached policy are in red font and in strikeout. That's been highlighted for you. The financial implications are a little bit unknown. The proposed updates to the policy, in particular that inclusion of the 10 and 20 passes, will depend on overall demand and uptake for this program. So it is difficult for me to project that exact costs at this time. But that introduction of that maximum of 40 discounted passes, it's intended to help manage that potential increase in usage and hopefully avoid misuse and particularly to avoid our users from using discounted passes in place of sort of that annual membership. Staff, we will continue to monitor participation levels and budget impacts following implementation, should this get approved, and should demand significantly exceed our expectations, adjustments will be brought forward with this policy for council's consideration. The link to strategic plan is goal 2, healthy and welcoming community, as well as goal 5, open and responsible government. And the recommendation before you this evening is that report PRC 0825 fee assistance policy be received and that council approve the recommended amendments in the policy. Any questions?
Thank you, Laura. Open for discussion. Councillor Sacco.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Laura, for your report. It sounds like it was definitely needed to happen as that update. So I'm really happy to hear that. I support the aquatic passes decision that your committee made. I think that's a great idea. But I'm wondering are there any steps in place so we can see that the people who need this get to access this information? How do they find out about it? What steps are in place?
So at this point, we do advertise our fee assistance policy in any of our community guides. So I think it could be potentially even first or second page right within the front cover. It's very, very early in the guide. I'm actually just looking. It is page 1. So it is certainly very upfront in the guide. And really at that point, it's more if people are calling in as well, our customer service staff does a very good job of handling any of those calls and they will get referred.
Other comments, questions? All in favor? That is carried. 11.5 PRC 0925. The subject is Labyrinth of Distinction Policy and Procedures Update. It's from Laura Kristen, our Director of Parks, Recreation and Culture, and I need a mover and seconder to put this on the floor. Councillor Fleet and Councillor Sacco. Laura?
Thank you again, Your Worship. So the Labyrinth of Distinction is a design feature of our Heritage Square, and it is established to honor and commemorate individuals or organizations whose accomplishments, contributions, and dedication have significantly benefited the town and or brought honor to our community. So this was originally adopted by council back in May of 2005, and the Labyrinth of Distinction policy ensures that residents who have earned distinction are formally acknowledged and their contributions preserved for the awareness and inspiration of future generations. For reference, the Labyrinth of Distinction brochure was attached that included some further details. So the discussion is during the most recent intake period, the PRC Advisory Committee identified the needs to clarify the voting procedure. And in response, there were some amendments that have been developed in consultation with the committee to improve that clarity. And then also we've incorporated some minor housekeeping updates. Again, the revisions to this policy have been identified in that red font and that strikeout. And for your consideration, and to highlight to anyone who is listening as well, that our intake period, it is currently open, and it will close on February the 28th, 2026. There are no final financial implications with this report, and the the strategic plan is open and responsible government. The recommendation before you this evening is that report PRC 0925 Labyrinth of Distinction Policy and Procedures Update be received, and that council approve the recommended amendments to this policy. Happy for any questions.
Comments, discussion, Councillor Sacco.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thanks, Laura, for this report. I just wanted to thank you for giving us page 206, the list of all the recipients. I found that fascinating. For our town to be able to look back to 1849 and see Abraham Buck, and then all the way to the present to see Henry and Barb Lansing is awesome. So thanks for doing that.
Other comments? All right, I'll call the question. All in favor of PRC 0925? That is carried. Thanks, Laura. Item 12 is committees of council, and we have 6 sets of minutes, and I need a mover and seconder for those. Councillor Cable and Deputy Mayor Dickert. The first one, 12.1, is the Economic, Tourism and Cultural Development Advisory Committee minutes from June the 18th. Councillor Sacco, if you would highlight those, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. We met on Wednesday, June the 18th at Grey Bruce Makers at Sydenham Campus in Owen Sound. And Dan Herrick, the Executive Director of Grey Bruce Makers, gave us a tour of their 8,000 square feet facilities with over 150 machines and tools. We really enjoyed the tour, and we understand that they have a digital fabrication lab, a wood shop, a metal shop, a marketing lab, an art space and classroom, and it caters to everything from simple crafts to light manufacturing. So those of us who attended were extremely impressed. And we thank Savannah Myers for stepping in and speaking to us as well, and talking about it as being a regional skills training, trades, and innovation center. I'm very envious of it, to be honest with you. Under business arising from minutes, I did have a resident share with me that they would love to see, now that they know we're getting a new police station eventually, that would be a great location for a cultural center. I've had a number of people approach me about this, and so I'm simply bringing it forward that they commented that this would be a good place to display some heritage artifacts, and that they wish for the town to explore the feasibility of it as the opportunity arises. So I hope they're listening and they know that I've done that. Under business retention expansion study, this is being done by April Marshall and a small team of people. I'm one of those. We are hoping for 75 responses, and we have that as a target for manufacturing, wholesale, retail trade, arts and entertainment. Will help us develop action plans to support business growth and a vibrant local economy. All responses will remain strictly confidential. Under Tourism and Downtown Plan, April Marshall has reviewed the decision to include tourism as an element in the downtown plan. She shared the MOU with the DIA and has been established, and they will be contributing both monetarily and in kind, and we thank them for that. Under youth retention strategy, April shared the work that's being done around the youth retention and the potential that's a continued use of the former Launchpad property. It's currently being investigated. She highlighted that the meetings are being conducted with local and regional stakeholders on the role that they could play in the vision of a community hub that supports youth retention and wellness, skill development, and entrepreneurship. Saugeen Connects. We had a record number of applications that's been received by the Saugeen Student Startup Program this year. And after vetting applicants amongst the criteria, a total of 60 youth were notified of their acceptance in the program. 19 of those are from Hanover. Under new business, April shared that the Economic Development, Clerks Bylaw, and Parks, Recreation, and Culture departments have met to discuss a food truck pilot program. As you probably know, it's already started. I'd like to speak about that later in the good news. And I believe that's the end of that committee minutes. Are there any questions? I'd be happy to answer them.
Councillor Hudson.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm just wondering if you can tell me the deadline for the business retention and expansion study, how long it's running and when that will be coming to us.
Thank you for the question. So we know that we can run, I've already done some interviews and April's done a number of them. They're happening in August and they're happening in September. I don't believe I have a special date to end it. So we might just see where we're at because we are trying to get 75.
Other comments or questions? Seeing none, if you would continue on, Councillor Sackle with the Cultural Roundtable Committee minutes, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. The Cultural Roundtable met on June the 6th. It looks like the committee is exploring the possibility of bringing a program called Doors Open Ontario Participation to Hanover. They would require an organizing committee if they went ahead with that, with a lead contact, and they would require at least 10 sites that are either historical, architectural, or have cultural significance. If the committee moves forward on this, the event would occur sometime between April and October. And certainly if there's anyone listening at home that thinks that they might want to contribute to that or help to be a volunteer, we're definitely going to need volunteers if they move forward with that. And I don't really know anything more than what I've already stated about that particular program. Under initiative updates, Music in the Square has only one performance left. If you haven't attended, you might want to consider doing so. The next performance is Saturday, August the 23rd from 11 to 1, and the band is called Wave. Under the Event Development Fund, they have funded 2 events so far this year. So if anyone is working on an event and they're wanting some funding, they might want to go online and see if they meet the criteria and to contact April Marshall if they're interested in doing so. Under Culture Days and Welcome Week, the plans continue to launch the library as a newcomer resource center as part of Welcome Week. We are still looking forward to the Culture Bus Tour that's going to happen on October the 4th. Hanover stops will include Heritage Square this year, the Clock Tower, and the Saugeen Municipal Airport. The Heritage Committee will provide tours of the square to share the history of the site and how it's reflected in the development of the park. Under Roundtable Updates, Bev Morgan talked about the Saugeen Artists Guild offering a $200 bursary for students attending post-secondary. The Guild is also beginning to look at storage facilities and options and for a storefront for their Christmas store, as they always do. And Stephen Ferguson of the Hanover Community Players commented that the Christmas show is going to be School of Rock. They've had 40 applications for roles, so that's pretty awesome. And finally, I know Marg Post is really excited about this. A new storage facility in the flea market has helped to make a prop and set design much easier for them. And finally, the Western Ontario Drama League has reached out to the Hanover community players to host a festival. I'd be happy to attempt to answer any questions you might have on that.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, one final one to continue. Councillor Sacco, 12.12, the Hanover Heritage Subcommittee minutes.
Thank you, Your Worship. The Heritage Committee met on Thursday, April the 17th. They had a delegation local historian, Richard Thomas, who provided an overview of his project called Living Histories V2 for Grey Roots Museum. He's specifically looking for historical landscape and streetscape photos. The notes say that it took place at the library on May the 24th, but I'm sure if anybody else has pictures to share, you could get in touch with the library about that. Under items for direction, the building recognition signs for 2025 have confirmed that the plaques for 305 10th Street and 393 10th Street will be installed in spring/summer 2025. So hopefully those are done by now. I'm not sure. The cemetery tour brochure that Al Morrow is working on is nearing completion. And again, that could be finished at this point in time. And under new business, there's an Artifacts Roadshow. A committee member recommended repeating the Artifacts Roadshow. This suggestion will be considered as part of the planning for Culture Days in September. And I don't know any more about that as well. So if you have any questions, I probably don't know the answer, but you can ask. Thank you.
I'm sure we can find out the answers. Is there any discussion? None. See, we're good. All right, 12.2 is the Parks, Recreation, and Culture Advisory Committee minutes. Councillor Hudson.
Thank you, Your Worship. Parks, Recreation, and Culture met Wednesday, July the 23rd, and we did have a delegation from the Flag Football League, which is new to our community. Kyle Cook came and told us all sorts of things about that. This is their first year. They ended up having, I believe he said 80 registered, so it was very positive. They run from mid-May till July the 5th, so their season is now done. They're trying to promote a lot of the teenagers and to attempt to do some of the coaching as well as the parents. Teenagers being able to, ramp up their leadership skills. So lots of questions. We didn't know a lot about that, so that was very exciting. A lot of the things in the minutes have already come and gone, like the splash pad update, all of that. The grand opening was very successful. We did have a bit of a debrief on the volunteer fair, which was the first year that had happened. The members that were there, the participants that were there, a number of them did receive a lot of volunteers, so that was good to see. Some of the comments were that perhaps, a little bit more of a commitment from some of the committees that were there would be a good thing. So it's been determined that they will do that again annually and possibly different times of the year. That could happen as well. We have gone through the fee assistance. I think everything else we have already discussed. Yeah, so that was it. Thank you.
Very good. Any discussion, comments? Okay, we'll move on. 12.2.1, the Splash Pad Committee minutes. Councillor Hawking, 2 sets of minutes.
Thank you, Worship. I'm going to use Councillor Hudson's terminology that they have come and gone. June the 4th meeting, basically what we were doing is helping Brandon out with the sort of the logistics with the opening. It's not in the minutes, but I'd like to make a comment that I've heard from many, many people that they really, really liked having Canada Day down at the park. So just for staff's information. Fundraising. We had a photo op the other day, didn't we? Yeah. Who was that? Cobite Engineering. So that's probably our last photo op. Just for information, our last meeting, I believe, is on the Wednesday, September the 4th. And I think that that meeting, we're going to disband the committee because we've done our job. And I just want to thank all the committee members and the town and everybody involved. I drive by that splash pad daily and it's always in use. So thanks to the counselors who brought this item forward, and it's certainly an added asset to our community. So do you want me to carry on with the next minutes? Yeah, I wasn't there, so it'll be really good. Let's see. Just a construction update, fundraising committee. It's all, as Carol said, all behind us. So again, it's great experience, and I enjoyed every minute of it. So thank you.
Any
And
comment?
I just want to salute Laura. I mean, she did a great job steering us. We had lots of opinions, did a great job, and the whole tendering process. So it was a slice to work with Laura again. I don't know whether you're aware, but Laura and I worked back in the fundraising for the P&H Center years ago. And she's even better now. So thanks, Laura. Thanks, Laura.
Any comments, discussion? Okay, the last set of these minutes, 12.3, is the Planning Advisory Committee minutes. Councillor Fleet.
Thank you, Your Worship. Planning Advisory met Tuesday, July 8th. I'll just go over some of the highlights. Andrew Wilkin, the Secretary Treasurer, informed the committee about the Town of Hanover's official plan review process. Dana Kiefer has requested a kickoff meeting for the steering committee, which includes members of this committee, along with Liz Buckton from the Senior Planner of County of Grey. And the proposed meeting time is tomorrow, actually, August 12th at 4 p.m., a Zoom meeting. So that's tomorrow at 4. Another one was minor variance application A325. This is Travis Campbell, 269 13th Avenue. Councillor Cable had indicated his remarks from his committee, the Committee of Adjustment. And the Secretary Treasurer informed the committee of a minor variance application received from 269 13th Avenue. Application was proposing to construct a detached garage measuring 30 by 60 with a height of 18.2. The process of the application is requesting a variance to increase the maximum permit gross floor area for accessible structure 600 square feet as set by comprehensive zone bylaw to 1,800 square feet. Additionally, a variance is being sought to increase the maximum permit height to 16.4 to 18.2. Written comments were received from 2 of the neighbors, property owners expressing concerns about the size of proposed building, its potential impacts surrounding the area. The committee also expressed concerns regarding the proposed size and intended use of the structure. Number 6, minor variance application A425, Jonathan and Megan Cooney. Andrew informed the committee of a minor variance application received from 412 8th Street. The application is proposing to construct a deck considered an accessory structure in the exterior side yard and front yard of the property. There is no existing shed on the property. The process of this application is requesting a variance to increase the maximum permit gross building area to accessory structure from 600 square feet as set out in zoning bylaw number 676-58, or zoning bylaw to 6.76858 square feet. In addition, the application is requesting to reduce front yard setback by 6 feet. Another one we had was minor variance A525. This is regarding the Dickey's building. Old Dickey and Edward Mack Evans Planning attended the meeting and provided a summary of the proposed, which involves converting the existing building into 41 residence units. The building is fully barrier-free, incorporating elevators and ramps to support accessibility. Again, Brandon Counselor Cable and the Committee of Adjustment had reviewed this application, and both committees had the same concerns. And we had correspondence and introduction to County of Grey Planning Ecology. So that's all I have to report from planning.
Thank you. Any comments or discussion? All right, so that was the last set of minutes, and it's been moved by Councillor Cable, seconded by Deputy Mayor Dickert. And the motion is to receive the information and approve the recommendations contained in the minutes that were just highlighted. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Item 13, we have bylaw number 334125, and I will ask the clerk for I need a mover and seconder first. Councillor Hudson and Councillor Cable. And I will ask the clerk for the intent of the bylaw, please.
Bylaw 3341-25 is a bylaw to authorize the signing of an agreement between the town of Hanover and the municipality of Grey Highlands for provision of technical rescue services.
Thank you, Vicky. So it's been moved by Councillor Hudson, seconded by Councillor Cable, that bylaw number 3341-25 be introduced and that it be taken as read a first, second, and third time, finally passed, signed by the mayor and the clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and inserted in the bylaw book. Are there any further questions? Seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. We do not have any correspondence requiring action. And at this time, I will ask if there's any, will I get this right? Any notices of motion? Seeing none, we'll move on to good news and celebrations. And we'll start with Councillor Fleet and then open it up. Councillor Fleet.
Thank you, Worship. I just have a couple. First of all, I want to congratulate Hanover Barons captain Alex McGilvery. He was selected to represent Team Canada U23 softball team championship. It's set September 13th to 20 in La Panda, Argentina. So congratulations, Alex. He's just not a hockey player, he's a ball player. And also, I just want to thank Caroline Allen, owner of the Tim Hortons, and Tammy Aaron's manager for the opportunity to attend Camp Day, along with Deputy Mayor Dickert was there when I was on, and so was Councillor Cable. I had the opportunity to work the window. The other two got to clean windshields. But anyways, congratulations. They raised $9,771 to go to Tim Hortons Foundation Camp. So that's all I have to report.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councillor Cable.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to extend a congratulations to the Hanover Bentic and Brant Agricultural Society on a highly successful 161st fair. It was great to see so many families that were in attendance, and I thought there was a lot to do, from free live entertainment to the inflatables, the zip line, face painting, live animal shows, and many exhibits that were under the grandstand. So certainly there was a lot for families to do, and I think in our current times, it's very rare for there to be an event that's completely free for families for the entire weekend. And so I really do appreciate all the many volunteer hours that went into creating that free event for our community.
Did you try the zip line?
We thought about it, but we never quite got there. But I think it would have been a great time.
Councillor Sacco.
Thank you, Your Worship. It was a long line, so I can understand if you didn't. Just to follow up on the fair, special congratulations to the firefighters who placed first in the tug of war competition. They now have $700 to donate to a Grey Bruce charity of their choice. And second place went to the curling club, who have $300 to donate to a charity. I'd also like to let everyone know that the food truck pilot program is now running until October the 5th. And if you like Kickin' Chicken, Nashville style fried chicken, it will be at Launchpad on Thursdays from 4 to 8, except for this week. So start looking for it next week. The Turkey's Mexican food truck can be seen at the town park on Fridays and Saturdays from 11 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. And then they do an evening shift from 4 until 7, but it's not going to start until August 22nd, 23rd. Thirdly, Fired Up Chef Crystal Heineman's food truck will be parked at Heritage Square from Wednesdays to Sunday, starting this Thursday, 11 to 7 at the Rexall lot, and then it will be from Wednesday to Sundays moving forward. You better check the media to check the hours because food trucks move around and they have special events to attend. But I did my best to get it out there. Thank you.
Very good. Counselor Hudson.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just wanted to congratulate both the Grey and Bruce County Federation of Agriculture for the new build out at the Safety Village out at Sulphur Springs Conservation Area. They have been a couple of years in the making, trying to get this put up. So they've raised the money. The barn is great. They also have a life-size cow, which they will be using as part of the presentation. Half of what they're doing for animal husbandry is to show children how big animals really are, that they're not just like the little piggy babe in the movies. And they're also doing some really good demonstrations on grain bin safety as well as power takeoff safety as well. So for those people that go out to the Halloween trick or treat, there's one more thing to look at this year.
Okay. Counselor Hawking.
Thank you, Worship. I too want to salute the Fair Board for all their activities. I was up there yesterday, but I just want to inform people that approached me on a different issue. The issue was the current condition of the JDSS property. I too drove by it, and it breaks my heart to see it in that condition. However, I want to assure the people who approached me that our staff are on it. The property is now a development and follows under different, bylaws enforced by the town. They're in constant communication. They're working through the Clean Yards bylaw to deal with this property. So your concerns are not going amiss. They're working as well as they can with the current consultant, and you can be assured that town staff are fully aware of your concerns. So thanks for bringing it to me. So I just wanted to indicate that this is a good news story for you because your concerns are being looked after. So thank you.
Okay. I'll ask staff if there's anything you'd like to highlight. Okay.
Couple of things. We've been promoting through our social media and other opportunities that you have an opportunity as residents to sign up and subscribe to stay up to date on Town of Hanover news, alerts, and career opportunities. That's continuing to grow, that subscription list. And I strongly encourage our residents to do so. There's lots of good little updates here and there that are provided to you direct by your email. So I would encourage you to go to our website to do that. Secondly, here we are mid-August, and I don't want to wish the summer away, but it is passing by quickly. And our summer staff have really been key this summer on a couple of fronts. One being out at the landfill. We've had some challenges just with gate attendant operation with some of the things we've faced out there, and our summer students from Public Works have jumped in and learned some new skills and been assigned to some tasks and roles out there to assist us with getting through that. And secondly, we have a downtown that is vibrant and appealing, and the flowers that go along with that just add to that experience. I was away on the weekend, and it's interesting when you're a town staff and you go to other communities, I notice things like their downtown flowers, and that's because of my role, like the experience I've had in the role of having a beautiful downtown. So our Parks, Recreation, and Culture staff, our summer students, they're out daily since about early June. And in this summer weather, when we were having the heat that we were having and the vibrancy of those flowers, it's not just because of the water and fertilizer, it's because of their diligence and commitment to being out at 5:30 in the morning to water every day. So thank you to our Public Works and Parks, Recreation, and Culture summer staff. You've really stepped up this year and played a key role in some frontline operations. Thank you.
The flowers do look great. Any other staff updates? Andrew?
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a reminder that the 24th Ave project has started from 10th Street to 14th Street. The first month is the biggest effect as the infrastructure is going in the ground, so it is closed to all traffic. That will reopen at some point in a few weeks to local traffic only. So I understand it's an inconvenience, but some short-term pain for a really nice product at the project's end, which will be probably about the end of October.
I just want to add a little footnote to that. We've had some inquiries about the advanced green at that intersection for the left turning properties, my goodness, left turning vehicles heading east. Just so our residents are aware, that is not going to be canceled at this point in time because it also impacts the flow of traffic through our intersections for our entire town. So they're interconnected. So it's going to remain, it's not going to be canceled. And that's why, is it because it impacts not just that intersection, but the traffic flow through the town. So little traffic intersection awareness point.
Trivia.
Trivia, that's a good word.
Okay, all right, we'll move on then. Item 17, upcoming committee meetings. All the dates of those meetings are listed on this agenda and of course on the website. Item 19, we do not have a closed, item 18, I need to do these dates. Sorry, these are important dates too. 18.1, the next regular council meeting is September 2nd, Tuesday. The AMO conference is August 18th to 20th. It's actually starting on Sundays now. They're starting to put in some pre-conference workshops. I guess maybe because people are leaving earlier on the Wednesday when some of them have 10-hour drives, 6-hour drives, whatever, flights. And 18.3, the municipal office will be closed on Monday, September 1st for Labor Day weekend. We do not have a closed meeting, but we do have our confirmation bylaw, and I need a mover and seconder for it. Councillor Sackle and Councillor Hawking. And I'll ask the clerk for the intent of that bylaw.
Bylaw 3342-25 is a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the August 11th, 2025 council meeting.
Thank you, Vicky. It's been moved by Councillor Sackle, seconded by Councillor Hawking, that bylaw number 3342-25 be introduced and that it be taken as read a first, second, and third time, finally passed, signed by the mayor and the clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and inserted in the bylaw book. I can ask if there's any further discussion, but I don't think there will be. All in favor? That is carried. So item 21 is a motion to adjourn at 5:18. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Hawking, Deputy Mayor Dickert. All in favor? That is carried. Good meeting.